Quilters, I'm here to talk about Ricky Tim's Convergence quilts. I think you're going to like it, and I hope that you take the chance to make these. And in fact, I'm expecting you to show them at our next meeting. Okay? We're going to be working on this one. I thought it was apropos that Memorial Day is just a week away. And so we're going to do a red, white, and blue one. So watch carefully. It doesn't have to be too careful. And remember, there are no quilter police around. Okay, now we're going to make these. You need 12-inch squares, or it could be 10-inch squares or 9-inch squares, but they have to be equal. That's the most important part. And heavily starched, because that helps with the cotton. Especially this one seems to be a little bit flimsy, so I have put some starch on it. So you start with putting them together, and there's no right way or wrong way. Just put them together, whatever you think is going to be right, because you're not sure what is going to show up later. So I've got these together, and then I'm going to put them right sides together. And one of the things that Ricky Tim says is to try to be accurate, even though there aren't any police watching us, to try to be as accurate as possible. I'm going to start from here. So the first cut you make is 1 inch. So we're going to put this on the 1 inch mark. And then you can take it away. I thought I put a new blade in it, but I thought it was a new blade and it might have been an old blade. The only one old here is me. Okay, so here is your 1 inch. And then we go down to 1.5 inch. Trying not to move anything. So now we're at 1.5 inch. And I'm going to push it away so I don't make any more mistakes. The next one is 2 inches. So we've got that 1/2 inch, then you need 1 inch, and then get down to the other 1/2 inch. You just have to watch what you're doing. I try not to drink my wine when I'm doing this, but you never can tell, depending on the time of day. So this is a 2 inch cut. And then it's 2.5, 3, and whatever's left over. Now, depending on what you've made as the square, this is going to change. So we're going to go down to 2.5. Okay, now I've separated them. You have the 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, and the leftover, okay? You set them out just like this. Then you take this and put it here. And just make sure that you've got enough room to just move them along. And this here. And you move it along. Is it coming alive yet? Hopefully it is. Okay, so can you see the similarities? Now, you take this and you flip this one over. Match up your seam. This is the important part. What you do up and down, you're gonna go back and forth anyway and take off the excess, so don't think anything of it. So match up the seam here. We'll do a couple and then you'll see me going to the sewing machine. I put this up high because of my hip problem, and it's working pretty good up high. Years ago, I used to stand up and sew, and I found I didn't get tired so easy, especially if I did a little dance in between. You don't want them to slip around too much. So just keep flipping them over. Something like a pancake. Hit that as close as you can. And if something happens wrong, you know, I'll show you how to fix it. You put something there if it's really cockeyed. I have no fingernails. It's not that I bite them. It's just that I do too much stuff with water. Okay, and when we get back, we'll have them all put together and I'll show you what to do. Now these have been sewn, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. Now we're going to put them together. So you just flip them over, make sure that you seam to seam. And then you end up with 3. We'll take them to the sewing machine and get back with you. Now that they've been put all together, you put this ruler toward the middle where you've already put it together, because we're used to doing this as quilters.
Across the seam.
And then just cut off that at the seam. And then take it up a little bit and cut off the seam. And
so you're getting rid of that seam allowance.
Yes, you're getting rid of the seam allowance. Because, again, you're going to put the right sides together. And these are pretty thick there, so even if this is a new blade, sometimes they don't work like you want them to. And then you've got to remember the 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, and whatever's left over. So you see that's pretty thick that it's going through. And we start cutting again, because this is what we do well. See how that's going together like that ahead of time? You want to get as close as possible. So it is easier for me. If you're 4'9", it's harder for you sometimes on this. So I'm going to the 1. And sometimes if you say that in your head, you're going to remember it. And then sometimes not. Push it away. Go to 1.5. Then we're going to go to 2. And then we'll be back. We've got them cut. The 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. And what's extra? This extra seems to be getting a little bit smaller, but the police aren't around, so we're okay. So you take this piece and you put it here. Move that down. Take this piece. Put it here. Isn't it getting colorful? Who's watching me? I'm telling you, this is fun. Everybody's got their own way of fun. This is my fun. And then, just like the other one, we're going to start sewing them together. So you can kind of see what's going on. Okay, here we're back. I've sewn these together. So here's one piece, here's one piece, here's another piece. And all you do again, obviously you're hearing the sewing machine, is make sure that you're putting them together as best you can. And I'm going to put it over here and put some pins in it and line it up so it's looking good with a pin that works instead of off center. So I squiggle to make sure this works. And then get it together like this. One of the things that I learned in home ec back in oh my gosh, that would tell you my age. Anyhow, I was a home ec major in college, but in high school, I took home ec for 4 years. In fact, when the teacher wasn't there, the principal let me teach the class. That wouldn't happen today, would it? Where is the MEA? So put these together. But starting to say about my teacher's name was Mrs. Robb. And Mrs. Robb said the most important thing, and she had a little lisp. It was preth, preth, preth. And that's what Ricky Tim says. I don't know if he has a lisp or not. So you can see how easy that goes together, that it's lining up really well. We'll do the same thing for this. We're going to line it up and put it in. So you're only talking about 2 seams here. And because you all know how to sew those 2 seams, I'm going to take it apart right here. I'm going to be showing you what I'm doing with this particular one. Now remember, I'm using these for background, whatever background that I want. And I want to emphasize what I'm putting on top of them. Now the other one you saw, the original one you saw a soldier in it. And my son is a Navy guy. So I am going to take the some Navy material that I have. I'll border it in this blue color, and then I'm going to take this Navy material and put it around so it's meaningful for him. Okay, and it should be quite colorful. Now for the silhouette that I made, what did I do with it? I'll be right back. So the silhouette that I took this, actually I took it off of Pinterest. I put into the where to look, I put in soldier, silhouette, and it came out this. Well, it really didn't come out this. It came out real small, and so I had to make it big. And because I don't know how to put it on the printer correctly, I had to have 3 tries. And then I just put some Scotch tape on it. But this looks like a soldier. And this is the Navy. There's a guy saluting in here. And so I'm going to make it like the Navy guy. Where is he? Well, can't find him real quick. But when they salute, they've got a Navy cap on. So I'm going to cut this off to look like a Navy cap. And maybe do a little bit different here so it doesn't look like it's got the gun on his holster here. So I'll make that indicative of a Navy guy with a Navy salute. And then we're going to go, I'll get just at the dollar store you can pick up those flags, and that's how I put it on the original one that we saw. We're going to go back to that and look at it, and I can note to you what I did on that one. So I did this soldier in grunge. I like grunge because it has depth to it, and then you just have to sew around it. I put the seam in back of it. Then this flag just came out. It was one of the ones that you get at the dollar store, and I just went around that with white thread, and then did I had it on there originally just that, and it needed something, so I just took a black piece of grunge and put it there. And I think it looks pretty colorful now. I hope that you appreciate it. And now I'm going to show you some of the gallery I have with the Ricky Tim's conversion quilts. Okay, so we've got the black, green, red, and the poppy. Put it all together, and then I said, what am I going to do next? So I took the poppy material and I backed it up with red, and then put them front to front, went around it. One of the things I've learned about doing these flowers like this, use a very small stitch so that when you turn it inside out, you take a little piece and snip it, turn it inside out, and it really works well. I've added some black stitching right here, and then I did quite a few of them, and then I put this on the machine, on my commercial machine, and went around it, and then I added some beads. And then I took and put some green stems. And how you make stems is take a piece of material, I put steam behind that, and then I cut it with a rotary cutter on an angle, so it's going on the bias, so that when you're putting on the stems, they can move anyway. Otherwise, if you're just doing straight, it wouldn't have any character to it. So I'm a character, and so are these flowers. So I put on as many as I could. Then I added this gold around that to separate it, and I put on the material, pieces of material. You can't, I guess I did pretty good because you can't see them. Anyhow, so I put those on, and then I had put on the stems. I can see how I did that. Sometimes I can't remember how I did them if it's very far, but this makes a nice little wall hanging. It makes it 3D with this, so here's a way of trying something new.
I want to go in and zoom in on the beads.
Oh, that's a good idea.
A lot of detail on those beads. Okay.
Next one. Okay, here we go with another one. So most of you know that I go to Checkers, which is down in Maumee, and because I have a sales tax license and buy a lot of batting and stuff, I go there. And they have samples. And this particular one here is black with silver. This has got some silver in it. This is all silver, and then this is white with some silver. So I put the 4 of them together, and this was 12-inch also squares. And then you can see it going back and forth. You get the background. Then I had some silver left over, and so I put these flowers on it. And you can use, in this case, I took a copy of one of these that I had before with the poppies, and I just went around, cut them out after I put on the steam-a-seam. Then I just go back and forth, and you can do this with your domestic machine. In fact, I probably did instead of my long arm. Go around it with silver thread. And then, because all of us are different, that's what this red flower represents. We're all different. So you don't have to follow the crowd. You can be you. I obviously did black, plain black, and I had some of the sample stuff. So here's with some silver in it, white with silver in it. This is a silver color with silver in it. And the other one also has black with silver in it. Put that all together, and I said, I want to do those beautiful birch trees I love. So I put, which has steam-a-seam on it, I put, here's a birch tree, here's another birch tree, another birch tree. And then I put on the green, and just, here's the brown of the trunk going all the way up, and then just the green, and doing some going back and forth. This one's on my long arm. Then I added the black going up here, and this is a piece of what, if you came close, you can see that it also looks like a tree that's got a lot of bark on it. I added some cardinals. In this case, these come off from material with cardinals, and I love cardinals. So I put the one there, one here, and one here, and then just going around it to, after putting on the steam-a-seam, then go around it. I've added some branches going out here, and then coming down here and adding some stuff, and then to add a little bit of, because when you look at the landscape, it's not perfect. So this is, I put on some yarn, and this is the eyelash yarn. I go around it with my long arm, going back and forth. And so now it's got 3D.
I want to come in on some of the detail.